Hello, I'm your Kingdom Spiritual Transformation and Life Purpose Life Coach and Mentor, Latricia Booker. And I'm popping in on you to tell you that they are intimidated by your maturity and your growth. They are intimidated by your growth and maturity. And so, Kingdom people, I'm going to leave this message with Hebrews 5:14. And it says, "But solid food is for the mature, who by constant use have trained themselves to distinguish good from evil." Oh my God, Kingdom people. Listen, there are those around you or those who watch you, them ones, whoever them ones may be. Listen, it could be, as I said, people around you, your so-called, I want to say friends, but used to be friends. I'm hearing frenemies, which to me, a frenemy is considered a friend and an enemy. But if someone your enemy and you know they shouldn't be your frenemy, because you shouldn't allow them to be your friend anymore. I don't know. That's just what I just thought of. Family, all kind of stuff. And I'm just hearing, I'm kind of hesitant because there's some things that I don't want to say, but I have to say them because it's just so unfortunate that this is so, but it is what it is. I'm hearing even people in the church, not always, not everybody, of course, but it's a common thing. And what happens, Kingdom people, is that you grow. You are growing. You have grown. You have matured. You are maturing. And it's a lot of people that's not doing that. They're not growing or maturing. And so they're intimidated by your growth and maturity. Thus is why they attack you. Which is why they gossip about you and talk down on your name. Which is why they attempt to curse you and your destiny, your life, what you're doing, what you're working on, your growth and your maturity. These people literally attempt to curse it. They attempt to keep it from continuing. They may attempt to try to take you backwards, as if you can undo growth and maturity. Once you've grown and matured, you've grown and matured. But you know how that saying go, how people will try to pull you down to their level? That's precisely what they're attempting to do. Take you away from the growth and maturity that you have attained. They're trying to pull you down to where they are because they haven't grown or matured. And it makes them uncomfortable. It makes them feel intimidated. And what ultimately it is, it reflects to them what they have not done, what they're not doing, what in many cases they're not even willing to do. And this is why they're intimidated by it. They know, Kingdom people, that you're going somewhere because of your growth and maturity that they absolutely are not going, will not go, ever, as long as they're not growing or maturing. Again, these people we're talking about specifically right now is people who are not going to do that. These kind of people, they don't want to because it's work. And sometimes they're just so bogged down with demons. They are so dark and in dark, utter darkness. And listen, Kingdom people, it's a sad reality, but it's some people that want to stay there. They don't want to come out. Now, do they want to obtain certain things, have certain things, have a certain image, kind of look like what you look like, and they want the results of what they see in you while being in darkness, while being demonic. And we know, kingdom people, that's not what this is. That's not how this go. And so again, kingdom people, that's why they are intimidated by your growth and maturity, because you're actually growing in maturity. And again, many of these people, it's just not going to happen for them. And listen, sometimes when I'm listening to certain people and they might speak of, I hear sometimes they don't know how to do whatever. They don't know how to do certain things. People don't know how to heal. They don't know how to even, whatever it is, to be on the path, I'm hearing, of righteousness, or just a positivity of trying to do better, grow, mature. And every time, especially as of recently, every time I hear somebody say that, something like that, the Holy Spirit say they don't want to. In other words, these people don't want to heal. They don't want to do better. They want to get the results of doing better, but they don't want to actually do better. They don't want to grow. They don't want to mature. They want to pull you down and keep you from continuing to grow and mature, so they can feel comfortable, so they won't feel intimidated as they do. Now, I'm reminded of how sometimes, when you're moving and growing and, going along your path and along your way, you become more and more aware of, I'll say, spiritual warfare. You become more aware of why people behave a certain way towards you, or just period even. And it's because we understand people are under demonic possession and oppression. And there's something else God gave me last night, depression. Many people are under demonic depression. Now, you might be asking or thinking, depression, is there a different kind of depression besides demonic? Could be. Sometimes people are depressed. Listen, I'm reminded of Elijah and how he was depressed when Jezebel was coming after him. He was tired. He was just over it. And he was going through it, and it's just, doing the work of the Lord, that is. And it just kind of sent him into a depression. And so that's a righteous depression. And when you have a righteous depression, when you're in the righteous depression, God gonna come through just like he did for Elijah and lift you up. Because again, you're doing the work of the Lord. The Lord is going to encourage you. He's going to bring you out of that. So demonic depression is when these people are under demonic possession. And it causes them to be depressed. Because they're not happy with themselves. They're not happy with their lives. And what's happening, kingdom people, you reflect that back to them. You are a mirror of that to them. Because they see your growth and maturity, and they see how it reflects or radiates from you, from your very being. And listen, let's say you and them, whoever them will be, whoever they are, them ones that we speaking of, put you right here and put them next to you, and anybody could see the difference. Anybody, I guarantee you. So what am I saying, kingdom people? They can see the difference too. That's why they're intimidated by your growth and maturity, because I want to say they not able to do that. And the truth is, like I said, God keep telling me they don't want to. But what ends up happening is because they don't want to, they do come to a place where they're not able to. I'm reminded of Henry Ford, his quote, whether you believe you can or you can't, you are right. So if you don't want to do something, and sometimes it's because they believe they can't, then they right. So they end up not being able to do it. They're not, whatever it is, grow, mature, succeed, be better, do better, whatever the case may be. But here's the thing, on top of all that, all this demonic activity and behavior that they're involved in, running around town or wherever they're running around, doing all sorts of evil and wickedness, trying to, sabotage people, cause harm to people, hating, being jealous and envious and slandering people, all out of jealousy. And I'm just hearing a hatred for themselves, because that's what it ultimately is. People who operate like this, they hate themselves. And it makes sense, because if you're under demonic possession, the devil hates himself. So surely anybody he has control over, he has possession of, they're going to hate themselves, because they're operating out of that same spirit. Yeah, they prideful. Yeah, they can be haughty. But they still don't like themselves. They still hate themselves. And when I laugh, because when I said, yeah, they prideful, yeah, they haughty, what it came to me is then they run into you and they get intimidated. They're intimidated by your growth and maturity. And I just have to emphasize this again, because God is giving me how they literally know they on the wrong side of things when they come up, when they see you. And again, these people, for the most part, they didn't try you. Some of these people didn't try to destroy you. Not just destroy you in your life, but try to take you out of here. Literally, kingdom people. These people be in the dark. A lot of them be in the dark doing stuff. And even those who are not, they be trying to destroy you just by cursing you, using their mouth to curse you, or just thinking ill thoughts. Anytime somebody is wishing on your downfall and sitting thinking they hope that you don't make it, they hoping that don't work out for you, they hoping, those are forms of cursing, trying to curse you. I'm going to say trying, because they can't curse you. No man can curse whom God has blessed. And so, which reminds me, no man can bless who God has cursed, which is why, because they are under that demonic possession, and they curse with a curse, because they trying to curse a child of God. They trying to curse God's kingdom people. Can't nobody bless them because they curse. You can't bless a cursed person. Can't do it. Even if you try to do something for them or be a blessing to them, it's kind of like, unfortunately, throwing it into the toilet or taking it to, the places where they burn garbage, because it's a waste. You can't really bless people like that. But anyhow, kingdom people, getting back to the actual message, they are intimidated by your growth and maturity. And going to Hebrews 5:14, but solid food is for the mature. You eat solid food because you mature. And here's the thing. Some people are so low. I want to say immature. We'll say that. But it's beyond immature. This is, like we said, what I'm talking about is demonic. Because even an immature person can grow and mature. But they can't do that. They are aware that you eating solid food. You're not no little old baby. You mature. You've grown. They don't necessarily have to know your story. Maybe some do. Maybe some do know some of your life, some of the things you walk through. Those who are more familiar with you. But either way, what they can see is that you eating strong food. And they know they somewhere, ain't nowhere near on none of that. And I'm just hearing, don't want none of that. But the point is, because you eat strong food, in other words, whatever you do, whatever you involved in, however you live your life, it's like on a higher level. Let me give you an example. Let's just say someone who has a job. And let's just say, I almost want to say somebody work at Burger King. It's nothing wrong with working at Burger King. You got to do what you do, be where you are. Hey, do what you do. Burger King, or they can have a nice professional job. Let's just say they work for the city. Let's use that. Both Burger King and work for the city. Both are jobs. But if you a person, if they are a person that are not growing and maturing, in other words, they're still babies, so to speak, when it comes to maturity, it doesn't matter. Their job is not enough to cause them to grow and mature, even if they're growing in the company. When you're not eating solid spiritual food, you're still immature. So I'm saying that to say that they know that whatever you're doing is spiritual, and you eating something that they can't even digest because of where they are. And that's a lot of reason why they are intimidated by your growth and maturity, because kingdom people, they know nothing about what this is with you. And you know how they say people attack what they don't understand? That has a lot to do too with those attacks, because they see you, they know you different. Even though sometimes they know you different, they know you want something else, they don't quite understand it. But for some of you all, they think that because you chill and kind or whatever the case may be, they thought you was a weakling and they could just 1-2 you and knock you out the box. And so when they did all that and found out they can't, hold on, when they did it and tried it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, they know, oh, there's something else. You eating solid food, but solid food is for the mature, who by constant use have trained themselves. See, you train for this. Listen to this, kingdom people, to distinguish good from evil. And see, that's the whole tee-hee-hee. That's what I'm hearing. They know you see right through them. You able to distinguish good from evil. You've been trained. Remember I said earlier in this video that as you walked along your journey, part of you growing and maturing was you being able to see who's who and what's what, good from evil. You're able to identify that they're evil, these ones. You know who they are, and they know you know who they are. Because many times, these people in most of these instances, you either stop dealing with them, or you know, if you have to deal with them, the way you deal with them is in a certain kind of way. Make no mistake about it, kingdom people. People know why you moving like that with them. And you don't have to open your mouth and say a word. They know, because they know who they are. And after so many rounds with you, that they go with you, not you with them, but they with you, they realize who you are. They really realize who you are, to the extent that they do. And so they know from that you know who they are. And now they know who you are, to the extent that they do. And kingdom people, that causes them to be intimidated. They are intimidated by your growth and maturity. Again, they know nothing about this. You know good from evil. You done trained yourself to know good from evil, because you at a place where you eating that solid food. You eating meat. Let me tell y'all a quick little thing. Just came to me. I be having these moments, especially when I be going through spiritual warfare, like strong. Well, I need some meat, and I be sometimes my body be like, I need some steak, some beef, because it's strong and it's thicker. Even though we have to be careful with it, you know, because it is harder, takes longer to digest. You know, just have to be careful with it. Sometimes that's what my body needs. And it's also thermogenic. I think I'm saying it right. I think I'm saying that word right. It gives you that substance that it needs. It's substance with it, in it. And so I'm just thinking of it in terms of, I've noticed that. But here's the thing. When I be going through that spiritual warfare, that meat helps to sustain me. Think about it. When you're going through spiritual warfare and you're growing and maturing through spiritual warfare, what you need, but solid food is for the mature. You're growing and maturing through that spiritual warfare, so you need something solid. I'm gonna need some beef sometimes with a stick. Now, always it's not always beef, but sometimes it's just like I be needing meat, protein. But sometimes it's like, no, you need some beef. You need something that's gonna stick, something that's solid, that's gonna give you that. You know what I'm saying, Kingdom people? Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't saying that all other things are. I love vegetables. I love fruit, and sometimes I eat carbs too. Sometimes I crave carbs too much, and that can be a problem. But my point is that, but solid food is for the mature. You're eating solid food. You have constantly trained yourself, and you distinguish good from evil. And Kingdom people, they see that. They know that in the way that they do. And they are intimidated by your growth and maturity. And that is all I have to say about that. So if you like this video and or if it resonates with you, please just go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Then click on that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. Thank you. Make sure you go ahead and ring my bell. Ring my bell. Ring my bell so that you can receive a notification every time I upload a new video. If there's any information you need to know about me, you can find all that right down below in the description box, along with other helpful resources. Kingdom people, thank you all so very much for being here. Thank you for all your likes, subscribe, shares, all your comments and feedback, for all your financial contributions to my channel, and for all the seeds that you sow into me and my ministry. Kingdom people, thank you. Now, Kingdom people, I love you all so very much. I really don't want to leave you, but I do have to go right now. Yet, I will be back to hold my Kingdom people down. Now, Kingdom people, above all else, let the Holy Spirit lead you in all things at all times. Kingdom people, we are unstoppable, we are unmovable, we are unbreakable, and we are untouchable. Kingdom people, keep growing, keep going, and go and be great. That is our time. This Jesus girl is out. Shalom and peace.